Woman must cut down pineapple tree. Police turn pale when its secret is revealed. It was supposed to be a simple task, but when the chainsaw stopped and the dust settled, the story took an unpredictable turn. Christine Battersby sat as usual by her kitchen window, hands wrapped around her morning coffee cup, enjoying the serene view of her small backyard. There it stood, the towering, majestic pineapple tree, but it was no longer what it once was. The leaves had lost their vibrant green color, some were already wilting, and a strange white fuzz crept menacingly up its roots. Christine also noticed that the pineapples, once sweet and plump, now looked mushy and discolored. The tree seemed to be dying. Since 1980, when her family bought the house, this tree had been a constant in her life. She had watched it change with the seasons, seen her children play in its shade, and proudly baked delicious cakes with its fruit. But now the tree mirrored her own pain. Her aching, arthritis-stricken hands felt like an echo of the dying tree. As the tree's condition worsened, Christine decided to seek help. Glenn Conway, a tree expert, came to inspect the situation carefully. With a serious expression, he finally declared, "I'm sorry, but we have to cut the tree down. There's no saving it." His words hit Christine like a blow. Losing the tree felt like losing a beloved pet. Yet she knew there was no other choice. Glenn pulled out his chainsaw, and Christine watched from a safe distance. The thought that all the memories held within this tree would soon be nothing more than history made her sigh deeply. Little did she know the tree harbored one final dangerous secret that was about to come to light. The chainsaw roared as Glenn began cutting the mighty pineapple tree down piece by piece. Christine stood by her kitchen window, a knot of unease in her stomach, watching the process unfold. The tree that had stood for so many years now yielded, slowly succumbing to the power of the saw. Yet the further Glenn progressed, the stranger the task seemed to become. A fine dust hung in the air as the chainsaw suddenly stopped abruptly. Glenn stepped back, staring at the tree trunk as if he had seen something unimaginable. His face turned pale, and his gaze became blank, almost petrified. Christine immediately sensed something was wrong. She cautiously opened the door to check, but Glenn raised a warning hand and called out with a voice trembling with uncertainty, "Stay inside. Call the police." Her heart began to race. What could be so terrible that Glenn, an experienced professional, would react this way? From a safe distance, she watched as he hurried to his truck and pulled out his phone. His muffled voice barely carried over the wind, but one word came through clearly. Explosive. Christine felt her knees go weak. Explosive? What could that mean? Minutes that felt like hours passed as Glenn continued his phone call, alternating between glancing at the tree and the ground. Finally, he returned, a grave expression on his face. "You won't believe this," he began, taking a deep breath. "Inside the hollow trunk of the tree, there's a grenade." Christine gasped audibly, clutching the doorframe to keep from collapsing. A grenade in her tree. Her mind became a whirlwind of thoughts. How long had the grenade been there? Had it posed a threat to her family all this time? And what did this mean now? Before she could lose herself further in her thoughts, the shrill wail of sirens announced the arrival of the police. The situation was far from under control. The police arrived within minutes, cordoning off the property with yellow tape. Patrol cars parked in front of Christine's house as uniformed officers began securing the area. Christine stood by her window, watching the unfolding scene in stunned disbelief while trying to grasp the gravity of the situation. Glenn explained to one of the officers what he had discovered: an old rusted grenade hidden in the hollow trunk of the pineapple tree. The officer nodded solemnly before approaching Christine to reassure her while giving clear instructions. "We've contacted specialists who can safely handle the grenade," he said, "but they won't be available until tomorrow morning. Until then, the grenade will remain where it is." Christine immediately wanted to know why the grenade couldn't simply be removed, but the officer's reply made her blood run cold. "There's a risk it's unstable. Any movement could trigger an explosion." The officers began stacking sandbags around the tree stump to minimize the impact of a potential detonation. Meanwhile, the property was placed under constant surveillance throughout the night to ensure no curious neighbors or thieves got near the grenade. While the police carried out their duties, Christine sat at her kitchen table, struggling to think clearly. She prepared coffee for the officers to ease the tension, but inside her, a storm raged. The tree, which had long been a symbol of safety and stability in her life, had harbored a deadly secret. The thought of how often she and her family had unknowingly been near such danger made her tremble. An officer, seemingly sympathetic to her plight, showed her a photo of the grenade he had taken with his phone. Crusted and old, the grenade was unmistakably a relic from a bygone era, likely from World War I, they suspected. Christine covered her mouth with her hand. This discovery had transformed her ordinary day into a potentially life-threatening ordeal. The thought of spending the night with such a danger just outside her door was unbearable. Yet she had no other choice. Night descended, and with it came an oppressive silence. The stillness of the night was unbearable for Christine. Wrapped in a blanket, she sat on her sofa, staring at the wall as if it might offer answers. The police had cordoned off the property, and an officer patrolled outside to ensure no one disturbed the dangerous grenade. Yet these precautions brought her no comfort. The thought of an explosive threat so close to her stole her breath. Her mind drifted back to the many moments she had shared with the pineapple tree. She remembered the summers when her children played in its shade and the harvests from which she had baked her sweet cakes. Now each of those happy memories seemed tainted by a dark shadow. How often had she unknowingly been dangerously close to the grenade? Had she stood just centimeters away while mowing the lawn? These thoughts made nausea rise in her throat. Christine glanced out the window into the darkness where the sandbags glimmered faintly around the tree stump. She imagined how the grenade might have ended up there. Had someone hidden it intentionally? Or was it a relic of war, gradually enveloped by the tree over the decades? She might never know the answer. The hours crept by with agonizing slowness. Every little noise made her jump, and she couldn't shake the feeling that danger was closer than she wanted to believe. Finally, as dawn broke, there was a knock at her door. The specialists had arrived. With professional calm and caution, they began their work to safely remove the grenade. Christine watched from a safe distance as men in protective suits carefully extracted the grenade from the hollow tree stump. When they finally carried it away, she felt an overwhelming wave of relief that nearly brought her to tears. The pineapple tree was gone, and with it a secret that could have destroyed her life. But as evening fell and she was alone once more, a nagging feeling remained. What if more dangers lurked beneath her ground? The thought of unseen threats hiding in the quiet corners of her garden haunted her. Yet one thing was certain: she would never look at her garden the same way again. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care.